Hey guys, JP here from Trails and Details, and in this video I'll show you the restoration of my very own dream car, which is an R33 Skyline. I bought this in the summer of 2020. Now unfortunately I only have pictures and a few videos, so for the most part it's a slideshow with some commentary. And now that I made this, I wish I actually recorded some more videos, though there is one sweet highway pull at the end of the video where it's finished. So when I bought this car, it looked alright, but the paint was in absolutely terrible condition, which you'll see later in the video. Also, the engine bay, while displaying a serious setup, looked pretty neglected with a lot of faded metal, dirt and other gunk. So the first step was to give this car a complete wash, starting with a foam bath. Then I used 2 buckets to wash the body of the car. And then I moved on to claying the body. And after just 1 minute, this is what my clay bar looked like. Yikes. Then I quickly cleaned the wheels, which I would replace for different ones later on. Then it was time to bring the car inside, where I could assess the state of the paintwork properly. In this picture, you'd think the paintwork looks alright, but put it under a proper light and you can just see how much swirls are in the paint, and also chemicals that are so burnt into the paintwork that the only way to get them out is by doing paint correction. This right here was after one slow pass with a Rupes Bigfoot LHR15, a heavy cutting pad and some Manzurna 400 compound. And after spending a good amount of time on the hood, it now looked like this. It's much better, though admittedly not perfect since it has a bunch of small rock chips. Here's a picture after I've done the roof, and you can see just how reflective the paint is starting to get, which made me, a car detailer, very happy. I also decided to take the wing off so I could properly polish both the top and the bottom. And after a while, the wing looked almost brand new. Here's another picture of the car, this time the driver's side. Yes, that's the right side since this is a Japanese car, and you see we're getting there quite nicely. Also, a nice before and after is the front bumper, which had plenty of contamination too, and now it looks much sharper. So next I wanted to focus on the engine bay with that faded metal and tons of gunk. I first gave it a quick wipe off with some engine cleaner, and then I followed with metal polishing compound and my trusty Rupes Hybrid Nano Polisher. I don't have a whole lot of experience restoring metal or chrome parts, but I'm very proud of this before and after. It's a world of difference. I also wanted to tackle this cold air intake pipe, so I took that off and tried my best to restore it with some metal polishing compound as well, which turned out much better. I then quickly gave the engine block itself a quick wipe down with some Angel Wax metal polish, and that worked really well to get rid of most of the caked in stains. So this is what it was like before we started with the engine bay, and now it looks like this. So what's next? Well, I wanted to give the undercarriage and wheel wells a thorough cleaning too. I first lifted up the car and then foamed up the wheel wells, and with a detail brush I agitated the years of dirt that was probably hanging in those wheel wells. And here's a goofy picture of me, cause my girlfriend was asking me how I was spending my afternoon. I mean, I'm a car guy, how else would I be spending my afternoon? During this time I also noticed that the exhaust looked very faded. So with some more metal polishing compound, a steel wool brush followed by a quick polish with my Rupes Hybrid Nano, and the exhaust looks brand new. And it definitely deserves it. First of all, it's an obvious piece of the car, and it's a wonderful nurse spec exhaust. After that I decided to remove both the side skirts and the front bumper. I wanted to see if these side skirts were holding any nasty surprises, but luckily I was spared for the most part. So while they were off, I also cleaned the body a bit more now that I had access to this area. Another reason why I wanted to remove the side skirts was also because they were fitted in not the best way, and I wanted to see if I could mount them a little better. So I put them back on, and through this ingenious way of keeping the side skirts in place but not damaging the paint, I used some kit, I think it's called, to glue them to the body properly, so to say. I also decided to tackle these nasty water spots on the windows. Apparently someone washed his car on a warm day and wasn't quick enough with wiping away the water, which now causes all these nasty marks. I first tried a water spot remover, but that didn't quite work. So I busted out the Rupus Bigfoot once again and polished the glass. It was hard work, but we went from this to this, and from this to this. And now the glass also looks much better. In the middle of all this, the car was brought to a fellow Skyline owner, Fabian, who has his own body repair shop, or I believe that's what it's called in English. He restored some of the rust for me and also fitted a new timing belt, water pump, and as an extra also did the brake fluid, as he noticed that was needed when he was in the middle of doing work on the car. And after that work, the engine ran like a dream once again, and it was time to finish up the detailing part of this Skyline. Alright then, time to tackle the front mounted intercooler. First, I cleaned up the sides of the intercooler with some metal polish, which made things much better. And then I used a metal brush to slowly but surely restore all the metal that was running along the intercooler. Yeah, trust me, this was a pain in the ass to do, but the intercooler just looked so much better, and I knew this would have been a deal breaker for me if I would be done cleaning up the car. And in this picture, you can just see how much of a difference it is. After that, it was time for some more fun stuff. New wheels. I went for white 18-inch Roda Grid drift rims wrapped in Federal 595 RS Pro semi-slicks. Not the most expensive tires you can buy, but they did me extremely well on my previous cars, and they're good bang for buck if you ask me. My buddy Mitchell put the tires on the rims and they were ready for some protection, which I used CarPro's Deluxe coating for. And then the next big thing on my list, which was the livery. Ever since I was 9 years old, I wanted a Skyline. But not just any Skyline though, it had to be an R33 with an HKS livery, like the 7-second drag racing monster that ran the quarter mile in 7.6 seconds. So I went to Carlo from Sticky Stickers, and yes, finally some video footage, who has an absolute dream workshop. And he went above and beyond to make sure the livery was done properly, and I was very impressed with the work he did on my car. Oh, and yes, that is an R34 Skyline with give or take the same livery. And I don't know about you, but they look pretty badass next to each other. And last, but definitely not least, which unfortunately I don't have a lot of pictures of, was some work that was done to the suspension by the boys from MD Performance, who installed a new set of coilovers since the old set had to go. And well, that's it. After many hours, and admittedly a lot of money too, my childhood dream car is finally done. There were of course a bunch of more nuanced fixes and a bunch of other headaches, but I didn't want this video to be 30 minutes long, nor did I take pictures of every single thing I did. And if you're still watching, here's a little reward for you. Oh yeah, the sweet sound of an RB25. And there you go guys, that's one childhood dream complete. For one last time, I'd like to thank everyone who helped me. First off, my brother for lending me his garage so I could work on the car. My friends for all their advice and work they did for me, like Mitchell who put the tires on the rims, Fabian from Incline Schadeherstel, Carlo from Sticky Stickers, Richard and Remco from MD Performance, and probably a bunch of other people who helped me here and there with answering questions. You guys are awesome. And there you go guys, that's my video. Hope you enjoyed it. See you later.